The scream tore through the night like a bad snap, echoing off the jagged rocks below the cliffside trail where I'd come to clear my head after the worst loss of my college career. I teetered on the edge, one foot slipping into the void, the Pacific Ocean's roar mocking my unraveling life as a closeted gay quarterback in the hyper-macho world of Division I football. Then, out of the darkness, strong hands yanked me back, the familiar scent of turf and rage hitting me like a blindside blitz. It was him, Jax Harlan, my rival from across the state, the guy who'd spent years making my existence hell, saving me when no one else even knew I needed it. I hit the dirt hard, chest heaving, gravel biting into my palms as I stared up at him. Jax's silhouette blocked the moonlight, his broad shoulders heaving under that stupid leather jacket he always wore like armor. "What the hell, Reyes?" he growled, his voice a low rumble that sent an unwelcome shiver down my spine. "You trying to make headlines for all the wrong reasons." I shoved him off me, scrambling to my feet, heart pounding from the near miss and the sheer audacity of him being here. Ethan Reyes didn't owe explanations to Jax Harlan, the golden boy of the Coastal Titans, the quarterback who'd stolen my starting spot in recruits' eyes and turned every scouting report into a personal vendetta. We'd clashed since high school camps, him with his all-American smile and me with my chip-on-shoulder grit. But this was crossing lines I didn't even know existed. "Get off my trail," I spat, brushing dirt from my jeans, the adrenaline sharpening every edge of my anger. The wind whipped salt air up from Big Sur's cliffs, where I'd driven after our team's crushing defeat to his in the conference opener. USC Trojans versus Coastal Titans, a rivalry that bled into everything, from locker room trash talk to national rankings. But tonight, it felt personal, like the universe was scripting some twisted rom-com where the villain played hero. Jax didn't budge, his blue eyes, damn them, piercing like spotlights, locking onto mine with an intensity that made my stomach twist. He was taller than me by an inch, built like the linebackers he outran, with that perpetual 5 o'clock shadow and hair cropped military short from his summers at football academies. "Your trail? This is public land, idiot. And if I'd let you splat, it'd be front-page news. Trojans QB takes a dive. Ruins my season 2. I laughed, bitter and sharp, stepping closer until we were chest to chest, the heat radiating off him cutting through the chill. "Oh, please. You'd love that. Finally get rid of the competition without lifting a finger, except you just did." My voice cracked on the last word, betraying the fear still clawing at my gut. Why him? Why now? We'd barely spoken off the field, our interactions limited to glares across neutral zones and post-game handshakes that felt like loaded guns. He ran a hand through his hair, exhaling like I'd punched him. "Just walk it off, Reyes. Whatever's eating you, don't make it permanent." Then he turned, vanishing into the shadows as quickly as he'd appeared, leaving me with the echo of his boots on the path and a question burning hotter than the game day lights. What the hell was Jax Harlan doing haunting my breakdowns? Back in the dorms the next morning, the world crashed back in with the force of a goal line stand. My phone buzzed nonstop, texts from Coach Harlan, no relation to Jax, demanding film review sessions, voicemails from my agent about nil deals slipping away after the loss, and a cryptic message from my best friend, Mia, the team sports psych major who'd clocked my spiral from a mile off. "Coffee. Now. You look like death warmed over." Mia was the only one who knew the full weight I carried. Not just the pressure of carrying the Trojans' offense on my arm, but the secret I'd buried deeper than any playbook. Growing up in East LA, son of Mexican immigrants who'd sacrificed everything for my shot at this, coming out wasn't an option. Not when scouts whispered about team chemistry and locker rooms reeked of toxic masculinity. Football was my escape, my identity, and losing that game had cracked the facade wide open. We met at the campus cafe, a sun-drenched spot overlooking the LA sprawl, where palm trees swayed like they didn't have a care. Mia slid a Vinny latte my way, her dark curls tied back, eyes sharp behind her glasses. "Spill, Ethan. And don't give me that just a bad night crap. I saw the game tape. You were off, like, cosmically." I stirred the foam, avoiding her gaze. "It's nothing. Harlan's team just. They knew our calls. Felt rigged. A lie, but easier than admitting the real unraveling. The anonymous email I'd gotten mid-season, a blurry photo of me at a pride event in high school, captioned, "Trojan's dirty little secret." It had vanished from my inbox, but the paranoia stuck like turf burn. Mia's brow furrowed. Harlan as in Jax? That guy's a machine. Efficient. Yeah, but rigged? Nah. He's got his own demons. She leaned in, voice dropping. Heard from a trainer friend. His dad's the old coach at Coastal. Pushes him like a drill sergeant. No room for weakness. I snorted, picturing the man who'd built an empire on Jax's back. Weakness. Guy's undefeated in rivalry games against us. He's the definition of unbreakable. But even as I said it, my mind flashed to the cliff, his grip iron tight, yet trembling just a fraction. What if that hatred masked something else? Practice that afternoon was brutal, the Trojan weight room a symphony of clanging iron and barked orders. I threw lasers into the net, each one a release valve for the chaos in my head, but my focus splintered every time coach mentioned the rematch. Titans think they own the pack. 12? Reyes, you show him what Trojan blood tastes like. By evening, exhaustion pulled me to the team's off-campus house, a sprawling ranch style in the hills where parties blurred into strategy sessions. My roommate, Tyler, the cocky wide receiver with a grin that charmed boosters, was hosting a low-key grill-out. Burgers sizzling, beers cracking open, the air thick with bro energy. I nursed a soda, fading into the periphery, until Mia dragged me into a circle with a few others, including our kicker, Leo, the quiet artist type who'd transferred from a small school and always sketched plays in his notebook. Truth or dare, Reyes? Leo challenged, his easy smile cutting through my fog. The game was harmless, a ritual to bond before big games, but tonight it felt like Russian roulette. Truth, I said, too tired to dodge. Leo's eyes twinkled. Biggest regret from the loss. The group leaned in, flames flickering shadows on their faces. I hesitated, the cliff's edge whispering back. Letting it get in my head. Almost cost me everything. Vague enough, but Mia's knowing glance said she heard the subtext. Then Tyler pivoted. Your turn, man. Who's the one guy you'd kill to beat? Off the field. Laughter rippled, but my mind locked on Jax. Harlan, I admitted, the name tasting like bile and intrigue. He's got this way of getting under your skin. The group hooted, toasting to rivalries, but as the night wore on, doubts crept in. Why had Jax been there? Coincidence? Or was he watching me closer than I thought? I crashed late, dreams tangled with ocean waves and blue eyes. Waking to a text from an unknown number, stay off edges. JH. My blood ran cold. How? I blocked it without replying, chalking it up to paranoia, but the seed was planted. Jax Harlan wasn't just a rival. He was a ghost in my story, and I had no idea what chapter he'd write next. The weeks blurred into a grind of film study and flight drills, the Trojans clawing back wins against lesser foes, while Coastal dominated the North. Scouting reports painted Jax as untouchable. 68% completion, 0 interceptions, a cannon arm that shredded secondaries. But off-field whispers trickled in. Rumors of him skipping team bonding, holing up in his apartment with classical music blaring, a far cry from the party animal image he projected. I tried ignoring the text, burying it under protein shakes and push-ups, but Mia wouldn't let it go. You're spiraling again, she said one rainy afternoon in the library, rain pattering against the windows like impatient fingers. That cliff thing? Not a one-off. Talk to someone. Hell, talk to me. It's football, Mia. Pressure's part of it. I flipped through a psych journal she'd left open, articles on athlete mental health staring back accusingly. Besides, who'd believe the star QB's cracking? Sponsors would bolt. She sighed, squeezing my hand across the table. You're more than your arm, Ethan. And if Harlan's texting you, that's not normal rivalry. That's interest. Interest. The word hung, laced with implications I wasn't ready to unpack. Gay in a straight world, every glance felt loaded, every kindness suspect. I'd dated once, a brief thing with a journalism major who ghosted after rumors hit the frat row. Trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. Then came the away game at Coastal Stadium, a coliseum carved into the Oregon cliffs, mist rolling off the Pacific like dragon's breath. The rivalry pulsed electric, tailgates spilling onto highways, student sections chanting war cries that drowned out the waves. I led the huddle pre-game, voice steady. They think we're soft after last time? Show him Trojan fire. But as we took the field, there he was, Jax, helmet underarm, scanning the sideline like a hawk. Our eyes met across the turf, a split-second lock that zapped like static. He nodded, almost imperceptibly, then vanished into his team's frenzy. The game was a bloodbath. I threaded needles through their D, connecting with Tyler for a 40-yard strike that had our bench erupting. But Jax? He was poetry in motion, scrambling out of pockets, launching bombs that sailed like missiles. By halftime, tied 14-14, my ribs ached from a late hit, and Coach was diagramming counters on a damp clipboard. Second half, it unraveled. Their corner blanketed Tyler, forcing me into checkdowns, and on a 3rd and long, I dropped back, only to eat turf as Jax's blitzing safety crushed me. Stars exploded, helmets spinning away, and for a heartbeat, the world tilted. Voices blurred, refs whistling, Mia screaming from the stands. Then hands hauled me up, not trainers, but Jax, his face mask inches from mine, voice cutting through the din. You good, Reyes? Stay down if it's your bell. His grip lingered on my shoulder pad, steadying, and in that chaos, I saw it. Not hate, but something fractured, urgent. I jerked free, play clock ticking. Worry about your own house, Harlan. But as I snapped the ball and lofted a Hail Mary to tie it, his words echoed. Concern? From him? We lost by 3, a field goal as the clock bled out. The crowd's roar a funeral dirge. Post-game, handshakes in the tunnel were perfunctory, grunts and glares, but Jax pulled me aside, water bottle in hand. Solid game. Don't let it bury you. Before I could snap back, he was gone, swallowed by Titan's blue. Back on the bus, head against the window, the coastal fog mirroring my mood, I pulled out my phone. The block number had tried again. Breathed through it. You've got next. I unblocked it, thumbs hovering. Who are you to care? But I deleted it, the bus rumbling south into the night, carrying questions heavier than any playbook. Fall deepened, leaves turning gold in the USC hills, but my world stayed locked in perpetual fourth quarter. Every snap a fight for survival. The email paranoia escalated. Another pinged, this one with a screenshot of me laughing with Leo at that grill out, captioned bromance or more. I forwarded it to campus security anonymously, but the damage festered, whispers in the weight room about Reyes distractions. Mia pushed therapy, but I dodged, channeling it into runs along the Rose Bowl trails, pounding pavement until my lungs burned. That's where the second save happened. Not dramatic like the cliff, but insidious, a slow-motion wreck I didn't see coming. It was a Saturday off, the team scattered to recover from midterms. I laced up for a solo trail run, the kind where eucalyptus scented the air and the city sprawl glittered below like a promise. But halfway up, my phone died, charger forgotten, and doubt crept in. What if the email sender knew more? What if they were closer than I thought? Pushing harder, legs screaming, I crested a ridge overlooking the stadium, the empty bleachers a ghost town. That's when the panic hit, full throttle, chest tightening spiral. Vision tunneled, breath shallow, I staggered off the path, collapsing against a boulder as the world spun. Asthma? No, this was the breakdown I'd evaded since freshman year, the one that whispered I didn't belong. Minutes? Hours. Time smeared until boots crunched nearby. Reyes? Shit. Hey, breathe. Jax again, dropping his pack, kneeling in the dirt. How? He lived hours north. But there he was, palm pressing an inhaler. My spare, the one I'd lost weeks ago, into my hand. In slow. Out. You got this. I wheezed, inhaling the albuterol mist, his voice anchoring me like a center's cadence. Gradually, the vice loosened, color returning to the edges. What? How are you here? He sat back on his heels, face unreadable, sweat from his own run beading on his brow. Scouting trip. Saw you bolt up here like a man possessed. A beat, then quieter. Figured you might need. Back up. Back up. The word landed soft, absurd. I handed back the inhaler, our fingers brushing. Electric, unintended. You stalking me now, Harlan? First the cliff, now this. His jaw tightened, that shadow crossing his eyes again. Call it even. You saved my ass once too, remember? That camp scrimmage, junior year. Took a hit for me when the D forgot pads. I'd buried that memory, diving to block a wild tackle, earning a concussion and his grudging thanks in the ER. Water under the bridge, I muttered, standing shakily. Why the hate, then? You've iced me out since. Jax rose too, towering yet hesitant, the trail wind tousling what little hair showed under his cap. Hate? Nah. It's complicated. He glanced away, toward the stadium lights flickering on for evening practice. My old man's got expectations. Yours too, I bet. Makes enemies of allies. Allies. The implication hung, stirring something dangerous, curiosity, maybe more. We walked down in silence, his pace matching mine, the city lights winking like confidants. At the trailhead, he paused. Text me if it hits again. No strings. I nodded, watching him jog off toward a rental car, the encounter leaving me steadier yet more adrift. Who was this Jax, peeling back layers I didn't know he had? And why did saving me feel like he was saving himself? The revelation simmered as Thanksgiving break loomed, families summoning us home like homing pigeons. I flew to LA proper, crashing at my parents' cramped apartment in Boyle Heights, where tamales steamed and soccer blared from the TV. Mom fussed over my bruises, Dad grilled me on stats, oblivious to the war inside. Make us proud, Mijo, he said, clapping my shoulder. Pride, the word twisted both ways. Mia texted from her family's farm upstate. Harlan's in town? Spotted him at a charity thing. Looked haunted. I brushed it off, but curiosity gnawed. A quick search. Yeah, Coastal's holiday gala. Jax in a suit that probably cost my weekly stipend, smiling for cameras while his eyes screamed escape. Back on campus, the team fractured under bowl prep stress. Tyler cornered me in the film room one night, face stormy. What's with you and that Titans punk? Heard he was at the trail. You flipping sides. Jealous. I shot back, but his laugh was hollow. Nah, man. Just rumors. That email shit. Points to you cozying up to rivals. Clean it up, or coach hears. The accusation stung, prejudices I'd internalized weaponized by a teammate. Leo pulled me aside later, sketchpad in hand. Ignore the noise. Art's taught me. Lines blur. That's where beauty lives. His quiet support, the way his hand lingered on my arm, platonic, yet affirming, reminded me why I'd fight for this world. But the third save shattered the fragile peace. It came not on a cliff or trail, but in the bowels of the stadium, post a grueling winter workout. I'd stayed late, heaving dumbbells in the empty weight room, sweat pooling as I chased endorphins to drown the noise. Lights dimmed automatically at midnight, plunging me into strobe-like darkness, the door's autolock engaging with a final click. Trapped. Claustrophobia clawed up, the room shrinking, echoes of past panics. Locker room hazing, scout rejections, amplifying. I pounded the door, yelling until hoarse, phone dead in my locker across campus. Minutes stretched to eternity, oxygen thinning, when footsteps echoed from the hall. The door creaked, unlocked from outside, and Jack slipped in, phone flashlight cutting the gloom. Reyes? Jesus, I heard the banging from the tunnel. He flipped the main switch, fluorescence buzzing to life, and there I was, drenched, trembling, pride in tatters. He didn't laugh, didn't gloat, just handed me a towel from his bag, voice even. Rough night. I sank onto a bench, burying my face. Everything's rough. The rumors, the pressure. Feels like I'm drowning on dry land. Jack sat beside me, not too close, the space between us charged yet safe. I know. Dad's got me on suicide watch half the time, metaphorically. Thinks one slip and I'm done. A pause, heavy. That first night on the cliff, I was there for the same reason. Contemplating the drop. The confession landed like a fumble recovered. Stunning, game-changing. You? Mr. Perfect. He chuckled, dark. Far from. The hate. It was deflection. Easier to bury you than admit. He trailed off, rubbing his neck, vulnerability cracking his facade. Admit what? My pulse thrummed, the room warmer now. That you're the only one who sees through the bullshit. That camp save? Changed everything. Made me question who I am, who I want to be around. The air thickened, unspoken truths hovering. Gay? Bi? The labels blurred in that moment. Our knees inches apart, breath sinking. No touch, no rush, just raw honesty, the kind that bound deeper than any tackle. We talked till dawn, peeling back scars. His father's bigotry masking his own hidden life, my immigrant dreams clashing with self-acceptance. By sunrise, as janitors stirred, Jack stood. The rematch? Play like you. I'll handle the rest. He left me his hoodie, warm, scented with him, and a promise. No more saving alone. The bowl season roared in, USC clinching a spot in the Rose, Coastal their perennial foe. Practices intensified, my throws sharper, fueled by that night. Mia noticed, teasing, "Harlan's your muse now." Leo sketched us in secret, a duo etched in charcoal, rivals entwined. But conflict brewed. The email sender escalated. A leaked voice note, my voice from a drunk call to Mia, venting about loving the wrong game. It hit team chat, Tyler's fury exploding. "This queer shit ends now, Reyes. You're benching yourself." Prejudices ignited, locker room fracturing, some defending, others silent. Coach called a meeting, face thunderous. This team's family. Outsiders don't divide us. But the damage lingered, scouts pulling feelers. The night before the Rose Bowl, tension peaked. Jack snuck south, meeting me at our cliff trail, neutral ground. Fog clung low, but stars pierced through, full moonlight bathing us. "Heard about the leak," he said, hands shoved deep in pockets. "My guy's tracing it, some jealous walk-on from your camp days." Gratitude swelled, but doubt shadowed. "Why all this, Jax? The saves, the secrets. What's the endgame?" He stepped closer, the ocean's hush underscoring his words. "You. From the start. That hate. It was fear of wanting what I couldn't have. In this world, quarterbacks don't. We don't get to choose." His hand found mine. Tentative, calluses rough from spirals and snaps. No kiss, no heat, just connection, electric and affirming. "I saved you because losing you would have broken me first." The confession unlocked floods. Tears for lost years. Laughter at shared absurdities. Plans whispered for postseason. Coffees, not cliffs. Truths, not facades. As dawn broke, rivals no more, we parted with a nod, the field awaiting. Game day dawned crisp, Pasadena alive with confetti and cheers. The Rose Bowl thrummed, 90,000 strong, our families in stands, mine waving flags, his dad stoic in the suite. Kickoff blurred into eternity. I orchestrated drives with precision, Jack's countering with flair, the score seesawing like a heartbeat. Fourth quarter, down by 4, 2 minutes left. I dropped back, scanned, Tyler open, streaking. The throw sailed true, a spiral kissed by fate, touchdown as time expired. Euphoria erupted, confetti raining, but in the handshake line, Jax's grip lingered. Knew you had it. Post-game, amidst trophy lifts and interviews, the leak's source broke. Tyler, bitter over touches, exposed by Jax's tech-savvy trainer. Accountability hit, suspension, counseling, prejudices cracked under scrutiny. Months later, spring practices dawned, us both drafted, me to the Rams, him to the Seahawks, rivals eternal, yet allies forged. Mia officiated our first public coffee, Leo's art immortalizing the arc. Love bloomed slow, in stolen glances and late-night calls, a drama resolved not in spectacle, but quiet strength. And on quiet nights, overlooking that same ocean, Jax's why echoed, not hate, but hope, for us against the odds.